Of this, not qualified at all, but somehow I have this opportunity. So thank you so much. We'll start with the Mangla Charana. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhastam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalaam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yatkripa tadham vande Paramananda Madhavam Jayatam Suruto Pangur Mama Mandir Mater Gati Matsarvasya Padam Bhoja Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Shrimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Shishirada Shila Govinda Devo Prishta Lipi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vamsi Vatatata Stita Karshan Venu Swanir Gopir Gopinata Shriyastuna Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hriday Antaha Stohi Abhadrani Vidhu Noti Surit Satam. Now the verse. Just 1 second. Ah, okay, so it's Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, the status quo, chapter 15, description of the kingdom of God, text 9 and 10. So text 9. Swatam vidhatsva sambhumam tamasalupta karmanam adbhradayaya drishtya apanan arhasikshatam. The demigods prayed to Brahma, please look upon us mercifully, for we have fallen into a miserable condition. Because of the darkness, all our work has been suspended. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because of complete darkness throughout the universe, the regular activities and engagements of all the different planets were suspended. In the north and south poles of this planet, there are sometimes no divisions of day and night. Similarly, when the sunlight does not approach the different planets within the universe, there is no distinction between day and night. Text 10. Esha deva ditargarbha oja kashyapam arpitam dishas timirayan sarva vardhategnir ivaidhasi. Translation. As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herewith as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyapa. Okay. 1 second. So, Mother Diti, to delay the whole chaos that her sons were going to create in the universe, she delayed her pregnancy as much as possible. She kept the pregnancy within her womb for 100 years. Because they knew that these two beings were just going to create so much trouble, so much trouble. Nonetheless, the presence of these two beings was so powerful that even while they were in the womb, you can see this very gruesome picture here, that even when they were in the womb, they still were so powerful. They were still so powerful that they caused complete darkness everywhere. Kind of like covered the moon and the sun. And if there's the rays of the moon are covered and of the moon and the sun, especially the sun, that means not only there is darkness, but there is also cold. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the North Pole and the South Pole. So we'll come back to that point later. And then they, of course, they've approached Brahma, and they are comparing him to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they're saying that higher beings like the demigods are not affected by time like we are. Past, present, and future has no effect on these higher beings. And they're requesting Brahma to explain the situation. They're confused. They don't know what is going on. They knew that this was a result of the offspring that Diti was carrying in her womb. But they still didn't know why these children in the womb were having such a powerful effect, on not only just the planet, but universal effect. How was this possible? That two children in the womb means that they're not even fully developed, and they're having such a huge impact on the universe. They have the strength, the power to create complete darkness, to cover the sun and the moon. There's a powerful solar, planets. How are they able to do that? So Srila Prabhupada, to give us a glimpse of what the situation was like, he compares it to the total darkness in the North and South Pole. And because there's this total darkness, because the sun doesn't reach the certain months of the year, hence there's so much ice and snow. So it is very, very possible that was what was becoming the situation on the planet. Naturally, if the sun is being covered, if the heat is not reaching, then temperatures would go below freezing point. Now we know even in the present age, if we look at the North and South Pole, hardly anybody can live there permanently. It's not possible. It's very difficult. So I was just looking at some statistics, and according to AI, during the summer, at least during the summer when there is daylight, there are only around 4,000 people in total in the North and South Pole. And during the winter, there are only around 1,000 people, if at all. And that makes it something like 0.0000001% of the population. So how is it that these little beings were able to have this effect on the planets? They say in these areas, a frostbite can occur in less than 10 minutes and completely freeze the blood in that area of the body and completely disable that part of the body in 10 minutes. So even, Murli Gopal Prabhu, you're a doctor, and you know the effect of even when the body temperature changes by 1 degree, by 1.5, by 2 degrees. Now this is already severe. Either you're too cold or you're too hot, fever or shivering, right? Everything changes, hypothermia or what's the opposite of hypothermia? Hyperthermia, just within a few change in degrees, and all these bodily functions change completely. The enzymatic reactions don't happen. Everything, temperature, everything changes. Mental activity, the function of the brain, the function of the heart, the immune system, everything is affected. So you can just imagine what was happening to all the inhabitants of the earthly planet, all these planets. And that's why the demigods are approaching Lord Brahma and like, what is going on? You're the creator. You're the creator. You, in that sense, that you are the supreme. What is going on? So the contradictory point is that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 7:8, Rasoham apshu konteya, prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Where he's like, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. And he tells Arjuna, O son of Kunti, I'm the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon. So this energy, the sun, the moon, is Krishna. That's what he's saying. In other places, we know in so many places in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the sun and moon are compared to the eyes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The universal form. Here, Krishna is saying that I am the light of the sun and the moon. And so, whether he himself is that, or whether means that he is the energy, this energy, the sun and moon, is part of him, that this is the source of the sun and moon is him. Or in Bhagavad Gita 15:12, Yad Aditya Gatam Tejo Jagat Bhasayate Khilam, Yad Chandramsi Yach Chagnau Tat Tejo Vidhi Mamakam. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. So basically, Krishna is the source of this energy, which are high energy planets in and of themselves. We survive because of the sun and the moon. We survive because of the light and the heat from the sun. And we survive because vegetation grows on the strength of moonlight. Rasa. The taste on vegetables and fruits come from the moonlight. So these energies, the source is Krishna. These energies come from Krishna. So then, how is it that these two beings in their mother's womb, who are not even fully developed yet, who are not outside the womb, then how is it that these two beings had such a powerful influence that they could alter the natural course of the sun and moon, which are Krishna's energy, so close that Krishna says, I am the moon and I am the sun. He's not even saying, this is my energy. He's saying, I am the sun and the moon. So how is this? How is it that these two beings inside the womb of their mother were able to cover the strength, the energy, the influence, the power of the sun and the moon? How is it? Any ideas, any suggestions, any answers?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Maybe because also the demigods control some of the planets, and Krishna gives them charge of it, and in fear they um, give that energy and source to all of us. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good suggestion. Surya and Chandra, maybe they came under the control of these demonic beings. Possible. Any other suggestions? Any other suggestions? Okay, so Lila, pastime. This pastime was predetermined to happen to teach us lots of lessons on dharma, specifically the relationship between dharma and time. Mm. How within the boundaries of dharma, things have activities have to be carried out according to time. Time is such an important factor that determines the outcome of the results of activities. And this whole pastime is just teaching us living entities that how to stay within the perimeters of dharma, right? And that in staying within the perimeters of dharma means doing activities in the right time, in the right way, with the right intention. And this is what this pastime predominantly had to happen to teach us this lesson. Today, there is no concept about time, place, circumstances, everything in its own good time. 80-year-old people are getting married, and the world says, why not? You can find love at the age of 80. Okay? And what is the result, really? So many things we can look at, so many things, people. I was talking to a friend today in England, and he's 54 and they're thinking of having their first child. And I was like, okay. I was like, and I just asked him this question. You're 54, so you have a child at 55. When the child is going to be 23 years old, how do you foresee attending your child's graduation? In a wheelchair? He laughed, you know. But there's just no concept of time. Again, what is the consequence? What is bringing up a child requires energy. You have to have this young energy. You have to be playful. You have to be almost childlike yourself, you know. So this is Kali Yuga, nothing, no concept of time. No concept of time, no concept of rules and regulations and doing things within the boundaries of just dharma, dharma. What is your purpose? What is your purpose in life? That's your dharma. And then so many specific things which seem like, oh, rules and regulations, but they're not. They're not. Every aspect of life has a rule and regulation. Can the children decide that they're not going to go to school on time? No, it's just this is the time school starts, and school starts at that time, and that's what it is. Can your parents just out of who are working just say, okay, I'm not going to go to work for 3 months? No, it doesn't work. Things have to happen in a timely manner. And so this had to happen to show us the importance of doing times in a timely manner. Otherwise, you can see the result. This is the result. Okay, our results, because we are so weak and not powerful, our result, we're not practically going to give birth to such ugly beings, but society is changing because of each of our actions, individual actions, is having an impact on the society and the future. So here the Lord may allow his own energies to appear concealed in order to facilitate his pastimes, to teach important truths. Secondly, Krishna likes a good fight. Krishna likes a good fight. There is a very big difference in a father play fighting with his child, you know, and he will even pretend to lose, or he'll pretend to get hurt just so that the child can feel powerful and happy. But when his, play fighting, or his in a boxing competition, they're two very different things. That's a real fight. So Krishna likes a real fight, you know, like we know in his pastimes in Vrindavan with the cowherd boys and the cowherd girls. He wants to forget that he's God because he just wants to have fun. Through Yoga Maya, he forgets that he's God. He doesn't want the mood of awe and reverence. He wants the mood where he's being chastised by his friends, where his friends um, steal his lunch and eat it. That's what he wants. He wants where one of his friends steals his water, drinks it, and then another friend presses on his cheek so all the water pours on Krishna's face. We think, oh my God, so dirty, so muchi, but that's what Krishna enjoys. Krishna wants to lose in a game, so then he has to carry a cowherd friend because he lost the game. He has to carry a cowherd friend on his shoulders. So similarly, he wants a good fight, and he wants to forget that he's God. So then he's going to create these beings where that enables him to take the form of Varaha and kill these demons, take the form of Lord Nishingadev, so much drama. So much action and drama. He looks like this, he did this, and he did this, and he loves all that. He loves all that. So then he's going to have to create very powerful beings, right? So that he can have a real good fight. It's like, my son Gopal, and we have this Rottweiler. He's about 3 years older, but he's really big. And when they play fight, but it gets so real. I actually have to leave the room. It's actually quite. They'll jump on the sofas and then they'll jump on each other, and it gets so real. Like Gopal gets scratches and stuff, and it gets so real. I just have to leave the room. I can't see it. So this is sporting. All Krishna wants to do is sport, whether fight, whether play with the gopis, whether tease the gopis, whether play with the cowherd boys. This is what he lives for. So he'll create these beings so he can have a good challenge. Same way how he killed Kamsa, so many demons. And then also, as Kali Yuga, adharma in Kali Yuga. As life becomes less dharmic and more adharmic in Kali Yuga, natural systems and cycles will be disrupted. Remember, Krishna does not interfere with our actions and our independence. He won't. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 14, the Lord doesn't make us act. Na karma phala samyogam, swabhavastu pravartate. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities. So Krishna does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act. So he's not forcing us to act in such a way, in any way, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature that we are covered by, right? So he is not going to force us to act in any way. He is not going to influence our actions in any way. So in Kali Yuga, because of our collective sinful activities, because in Kali Yuga, activities are so adharmic. We saw the example of how things are so untimely. That's but one aspect. Actions are sinful. I mean, how many things? Where do we start? So many things. What percentage of people in this world are following the four basic regulative principles? Eating meat, intoxication, gambling, and no illicit connection with the opposite sex. How many people, what percentage of people are following these four? Very few, very few. Outside of the devotee community, probably a very, very, very small percentage of people are following the four regulative principles, And these are just basic human principles. There's so much sinful activity going on, so much sinful activity going on. Keshav Maharaj was just saying 50 years ago, the three main problems schools in the West faced were chewing gum under the table, cheating in exams, and one more. I can't remember. Today, this was 50 years ago. Today, only 50 years later, the biggest problem in schools in the West today is teenage pregnancy, um, assault to teachers, and I think something to do with guns. Just look at the change in 50 years. 50 years. This is the change. This is how sinful activity. It is teenage pregnancy, sex outside of marriage, intoxication, gambling. This is just everywhere you go. So much adharma. And this is what? How many years of Kali Yuga? 5,000 years of Kali Yuga have passed, and things are already so degraded. We have another 432,000, no, 427,000 years to go. What's going to happen then? Very elevated, very, very senior devotee, my godbrother, Gudakesh Prabhu, once said that Kali, the person Kali, Kali Yuga, the person, Kali Yuga personified Kali, is only crawling yet. Or is it not even crawling? Something like that. Imagine when Kali starts walking, and then imagine when Kali starts running. What's going to happen? So our sinful activities has a direct and corresponding effect on the natural systems and cycles. And also because sacrifices will no longer be performed. And the demigods and the Lord will not be acknowledged. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says that by offering sacrifices to the demigods, then the demigods will provide all the necessities of life, starting with rain that then enable food grains to happen and life to happen, you know. So all these sacrifices to demigods, to the Lord, will be stopped. And hence everything starts deteriorating. And religious principles and dharma will not be adhered to. So just some statistics I found, thought were interesting. According to World Health Organization, more than 1 billion people worldwide are living with a mental health condition. This is just showing that how this is the impact of our collective sinful activities. And I say our because even if you look at the activities of devotees in general, we are not completely free from sinful activities. I speak for myself, you know. We're farmers. We're using pesticides. We have no choice. So in Kali Yuga, every endeavor is met with a fault. Every business, everything you do, that seemingly mode of goodness, farming is seemingly mode of goodness. But in Kali Yuga, we use pesticides and herbicides and fungicides, you know. So that's why I use the term we collectively, you know, because even devotees are one way or another entangled in this. So according to World Health Organization, more than 1 billion people worldwide are living with a mental health condition. 1 billion. The population of the world is what, 8 billion or something like that? And out of that, 1 billion have a mental health condition. 332 million people suffer from depression. 332 million people. And this is the recorded one. So what is the actual figure? But 727,000 people die by suicide each year. If you convert that to, it's something like one every 60 seconds or something like that. And suicide is a leading cause of death between 15, third leading cause of death between 15 and 29-year-olds. This was unheard of. I feel even 20 years ago, this was unheard of, teenage suicide. Today, it's the third leading cause of death. Loneliness is becoming an epidemic. It's really actually becoming a statistical epidemic, loneliness. Yet we have all these gadgets that are we are globally connected, you know, WhatsApp, social media, but yet we are lonelier than ever before. Loneliness is associated with more than around 900,000 deaths annually. Loneliness. So this is highlighting the growing emotional and psychological challenges facing modern society today. And this is not just a coincidence. No, this is the result of our adharmic activities in Kali Yuga. And each and every one of us is playing a role in this. Each and every one of us. Sometimes, as devotees, we think we're immune to all this. We are not. Truly speaking, we are not. maybe pure devotees, maybe many devotees in ISKCON. But when I look at my activities, my thought process, I'm not aloof from this. And then just the world, the effect on the world. 1 million species face extinction due to human activity. Deforestation being one of the biggest. Polluting the rivers. So many things. 35% of the world's wetlands have been lost since 1970. Again, deforestation. Greed. Climate change has reduced global agricultural productivity by 21% since 1961. Yet we have more fertilizers and more everything than ever today. Yet agriculture is becoming a challenge because we've depleted the soil completely. The soil has no life left in it. Soil was an organic, live thing, you know? And today, because of the chemicals, it's just a matter that carries plants. It just holds the roots. It's nothing else more than that. So,
Sorry, Mataji, could you please go back to the previous slide?
yeah, let me see. Wait 1 second, because I'm working with two screens. Oops. This one. Okay, so it's it's not all depressing. It's not such a pessimistic class. We will come to for devotees, everything is actually optimistic. Everything. So, how does a devotee look at this situation? You know, devotees who are trying to have a real connection with Krishna and the higher living being, the higher entities, the demigods, and who are trying to have a real connection with the living entities, soul to soul level, not body to body, you know. How do we look at this situation? Any ideas, suggestions?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So, I'm thinking because we know that we cannot change the situation. It's going to be even worse and worse, as you said. As Kali is still in crawling process, but it will be even worse as we know that as the time passes. So this is the time we have to take it as an opportunity to go back to Godhead and chant more rounds and to be constantly thinking of Krishna and not get too much involved in this materialistic weird things. That's what
Yes,
I'm thinking.
thank
Thanks.
you. Very good point. Just focus on your spiritual progress. Everything else is temporary. Everything else is going to come to an end. Thank you. Anything else?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Just to add on to Miss Mataji's point, I just had posted a while ago a quote by Srila Prabhupada where he says, instead of contemplating what will happen to this world, you have got a short duration of life, say 50, 60 years. You chant Hare Krishna and go back to home, back to Godhead. Don't consider what will happen to this world. The nature will take care of it. You don't puzzle your brain with these thoughts. You utilize whatever time you have got in your possession and go back to home, back to Godhead. You cannot check it because people will go on with their rascal civilization. Natural consequences will be there. You better take advantage of whatever time you've got and become fully Krishna conscious and go back to home. Yeah, and as well as, of course, as devotees, we do have our duty of spreading the mission. We can do that. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna
So,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
very much. Also yesterday, Keshav Maharaj in Mombasa said that, so he's doing the Shishtastakam, and he said there are two reasons why Krishna came as Gauranga. One is the internal reason that we know, that he wanted to experience what Radharani experiences. And the second external reason was, Narad Muni had asked him the same question, what will happen to the jivas in Kali Yuga, because they'll be so downtrodden, they wouldn't even remember anybody, and wouldn't remember Krishna and wouldn't know the process. So the reason why Mahaprabhu came was, the external reason was to remind us of our eternal nature, and tell us, show us the process, how we can connect with Krishna. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the, yeah. So thank you for all those wonderful points to just really just focus on our spiritual life and make it back to Godhead. Yes. So it's actually a very nice book, and I really like this book. It's by an author called Michael Happel. It's called Flip It. So how to flip every situation. And so, same concept. Devotees can use every situation. Just find the silver lining in every cloud and to enhance their personal Krishna consciousness, and as well as as we are progressing, we take other people with us. Both are equally important for Srila Prabhupada. So this means like two parallel lines, like a railway track. One is our own absorption and progress, and based on the strength of our own absorption and progress, we lift other people up. And this is our selfless service. As we progress, we take others with us. It's like a parallel railway track. Srila Prabhupada did not have to go to the West. He could have lived a very, very Krishna conscious, simple, happy life in Vrindavan. But I'll come back to this point later. But no, actually, just now, at the age of 70, he left Vrindavan and he went to the West with 40 rupees. He did not have to. So, in as much as we focus on our own progress, we have to be taking people around us, uplifting people around us, one way or another. Keshav Maharaj gives us such a beautiful example when Bhaktivedanta Manor in the early, was it in the 80s, late 80s, I think, mid 80s, fighting a very big case against Bhaktivedanta Manor being closed down. And then they hired qualified lawyers, and the lawyer said, I really need to learn about your movement. Do you have books? And they're like, yeah, we have lots of books, And the lawyer actually he read the books. And then Shivram Maharaj was was the GBC of the manor, and he met with Shivram Maharaj, and he said, your founder Acharya, Prabhupada, he was really something. And Shivram Maharaj goes, yeah, that's why I'm here, wearing orange. And no, he was something. And again, and the lawyer said, no, you don't know. He was really something. He said, I'm in my 70s. And I know how difficult it is just to get out of bed in the morning. This is what he said. And what to speak of leaving your country and going to a completely foreign country with 40 rupees. When Srila Prabhupada came out of the ship, Jaladuta, and at the harbor, he didn't know to turn left or right. He didn't even know whether somebody is going to be there. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did for us to be here today. He could have easily just thought about his own progress. As another example, Pradyumna Prabhu, the Leicester Temple president, was saying when he went to New York, Brooklyn, and, you know, of course, they went to Tompkins Square Park, matchless gifts, but there was another proper disciple who took them to other places. And there was a period for about 8 months of the winter in New York where it does snow. And that particular year, it had really snowed a lot. And where Srila Prabhupada, the room Srila Prabhupada was living in, had no kitchen or no toilet or bathroom. So early in the morning, even just the morning, going to the washroom, he had to walk 20 minutes to somebody else's house to use the washroom. There were about 3 inches of snow, and Srila Prabhupada only had sandals from India. And that's how he lived for 8 months. Can you imagine? I wouldn't be able to do that for 2 days. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did for us. He didn't even know us. This is what he did for us. So hence the emphasis of these 2 railway tracks, this running parallel, your own progression and the selflessness of thinking about other people's spiritual progress. And this is Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission. This is the Acharya's mood and mission, that the disciples and the following generations are to imbibe and embrace. You know, Srila Prabhupada, when he started ISKCON, he had 7 mission statements. Do we know the 7 points of Srila Prabhupada's mission statement? Anybody remembers even one of them? So, and I speak for myself, honestly, it is so important to revisit the mission statement. We have joined a movement and organization, and do we know what the mission statement is of this organization? Do we know what the mood and mission was of Srila Prabhupada? So here it is. In simple language, I simplified it. Educate the world in spiritual knowledge. And he's not, the first point is not even our own spiritual progress. Straight away, educate. We're an educational organization. We're an educational movement, the world in spiritual knowledge. Second, Second, spread Krishna consciousness through Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Education, spreading, help people understand the eternal relationship with Krishna. Preaching, promote the chanting of the holy names. Build and maintain temples and holy places. Again, for what? For preaching. Create a caring spiritual community based on simple living and high thinking. And then publish and distribute spiritual literature. Again, preaching. Such nice mission statements, you know. This should be our life mission statement, each and every one of us. So important to revisit this over and over again. Such nice mission statements. And we are all part of this one way or another, you know, we are all part of this. We just need to be more intentional, more conscious, more confident. So it just summarizes to that we are a missionary movement. And this was Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission, that we are a missionary movement. You know, and he wanted every one of us to take up this missionary spirit. This missionary spirit. And if Diti herself could prolong a 9-month pregnancy to 100 years just by her will and her determination. Imagine what we could achieve collectively. Imagine what we could achieve collectively. Imagine the potency and the outreach we could have collectively. We could prolong the effects of Kali Yuga. Absolutely. Not that that is our aim, but that would just be a sub effect of our Krishna consciousness. You know, maybe Aditi could have said, okay, this was meant to happen, it's going to happen. But no, she took it on for 100 years. She kept these entities in her womb for 100 years so that they, at least for 100 years, they wouldn't cause this havoc. And that's just part of this missionary spirit. That's just part of this missionary spirit. As Maharaj says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk with others. So here we are, an organization, a global organization, temples everywhere, you know, devotees everywhere. It's a question of coming together, cooperating and spreading this movement, sharing this Krishna consciousness with as many people as you can. Progressive too, again, your own spiritual progress and how you can serve to share Krishna consciousness with others. So, you know, as we close this class today, I actually want you to take a minute right now to, you know, it's all about baby steps. It's all about baby steps. What's your next baby step in your own progress and in sharing Krishna consciousness with others? What's the next baby step that you can take today or tomorrow, in the next couple of days or next week? How about tomorrow? So let's take a minute and just think about it, please. And then if you want to share, you can share. If not, no problem.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes. I just, what you said is 100% right. And we know that we have to spread Krishna consciousness. And being in Canada here, not many people except Induleka Mataji and myself are kind of devotees. We are trying our best to ask my friends. For example, I have a lot of other older friends who, when before I understood a little bit of Krishna consciousness, so I try to invite them for kirtans, or I try to tell them about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, but their interest levels are so low, like it is so hard. They don't even want to come to kirtan, or even if they come, like my neighbor is Indian, and she will come for a bit, she will sit and she knows like now we are going to read a Bhagavad Gita shloka or a chapter, and then she just walks away to her house. And then again for dinner time, when prasadam is served, then she will come, something like that will happen. And also whenever I see people who are little bit interested, a little bit of inclination, I'll try to tell them like Bhagavad Gita, if you are interested, please come first, understand Bhagavad Gita, then you will be more, your perspective will change, of life perspective will change, it will be more, you will be more happy. All that I'll try to tell, but I don't know. I don't want to say that they are not interested, but at the same time, some things are like they are already so much into Maya and delusion, where they are also struggling hard with their materialistic activities and things like that. So they are also, it's so hard for them to even attend one class, to come, or to on the call also. I tell them on the call we can, do some meetings and we can read and understand, but it's so hard. Sometimes I feel like they are pulling me down instead of me. Yeah. So this was my experience, Mataji. So, and also, yeah, how to deal with when people, instead of, they even though we want to pull them up, they pull us down sometimes. So it is a little bit of a challenge for us. So
Thank you for sharing that. First of all, thank you for your endeavor. Thank you for your endeavor. And always remember, Krishna is looking at the endeavor and the intention. It's never really the result, you know. So Krishna is appreciating your endeavor. Despite the difficult situation, you're still inviting people for kirtan. The result is not up to you. Krishna is happy with the intention and the endeavor, and for devotee, that's the main thing. You know, sometimes you can go out on book distribution and you have such a bad day, and you come back having distributed like 4 books, you know. But Krishna is not thinking, oh, look, she only distributed 4 books. What Krishna is saying is like, wow, she went out on book distribution and she stood there. And so similarly, Krishna is not thinking at all that, oh, you know, you can't even get people interested. Like the modes are so heavy, especially in the West. What Krishna is saying is that, wow, look at the endeavor she's making to bring people closer to me. So don't worry about the result. Don't worry about just thank you so much for trying to do this. And about them pulling you down, yeah, I have experienced that myself. So I think it is just very important to become something, add, if time allowing, either strengthen the quality of your sadhana or add something to your sadhana. So there was one example that, oh yeah, there was a butcher. He became interested in Krishna consciousness. And then he wanted to invite devotees for kirtan and prasad. And all the devotees refused. And just this one very simple, I think it was Prabhupada disciple, I don't know. He was like, I will come, I will come. And then the butcher said, oh, but by you coming to my house, is that not going to contaminate you and pull you down? And I said, oh, okay. So I'll chant extra rounds. Then that energy will not pull me down, you know? So, you know, it's every day our own spiritual life is progressive. One day we're going this direction, that next day we're in this direction, the other days we're just that, then that. That's how it always is. So just maybe just keeping your chanting, which I'm sure it already is, but just that's that attention and focus more maybe to your chanting and reading, that will help.
yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you. Yes, Mataji. We keep trying, and
Yeah.
yeah, we will do better. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. Also, I had one question, Mataji. If I have to wait later, I'll ask later, or I can.
Okay. No, I think you can ask unless somebody else wants
Hmm.
to share any of their progressive baby steps that if they would like to share.
I can share, but let Mataji ask her question. Mine is not so important. Mataji,
Okay.
ask your question.
Sure. Thank you, Mataji. It's a simple question, Mataji. Now, when we saw the, like how the WHO record, like how they said so many people are in depression and suicides are happening and all these things, when we see these reports, and if I say these things to some younger generation, and they say that, oh, all these things used to happen even before, but now it's just recorded, and that's why we come to know, and it's more like social. Now everybody gets to know what's going on. All these things used to happen even before. It's just it was not so like, open, or people didn't you it was not so much published everywhere. This is how people, the younger generation especially, it is so hard to convince them like we can change these things and get back to the normal life, like how what Srila Prabhupada's dream. uh, so I don't know how to even convince them that this is not there. This was not there before. Like now we see so many autistic children, and yes, as you said, people are getting children way late, and everything is going in the wrong direction. We see these things, but it's hard to convince anyone,
Yeah, it's
Mataji.
hard to convince anyone. It's hard to convince anyone. We just do our best, We try and share the information, give them prasad, we try and give them the holy name, whatever part of the philosophy that they can digest, and then there's nothing we can do more than that, you know. One thing came to mind is that Keshav Maharaj, through this Think Gita, he they train you up so nicely to give Bhagavad Gita classes online. So I just did that training, and it's really wonderful. It's a bit of work. You have to go through quite a few videos of Keshav Maharaj, but I think if you go through them, it really gears you up. It gives you all the tools and all the knowledge you need to then start an online class. And even to start the online class, they help you. So the advantage of online is that it's global, you know. You're not restricted to your neighborhood or this or that or that. So and it's open for any age, any and it's quite big. Actually, there's hundreds of devotees involved, and I can send you the contact number of the devotee who run. They're called Think Gita circles. The training is exceptional. You can take as much time as you want. They're very supportive. And then when you are ready, they help you start a group. So I think if you feel your reach is very limited in person, then this is a fantastic way of just increasing your reach globally. And honestly, at every step, they're just there to help you. So not only you, I mean, everybody in this group, could get trained up, and just the fact that they're there at every step to help you. It's actually a really nice program.
Yes, Mataji. I attended the Think Gita program, like not the courses. It was just when Keshav Maharaj gave some like a classes kind of thing, like Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
And yes, Mataji, I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know in depth. So yes, thank you, Mataji. Thank you. We will
I'll,
see.
I'll,
We will try.
I will share with you. Then if you want to get in touch with her, you can.
Yes, Mataji, we will. Yes, Mataji, I will try. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Mataji, who is running that? Which Mataji?
Her name is, I'm so bad with names. Her name is, I'll send you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I just wanted to share. Yesterday, I had an eye appointment and I went to the hospital with my bead bag because the waiting period is usually a long time. So I was chanting there because I had to finish my rounds. In fact, I had to start my rounds. So I said, oh, this is a good opportunity. It's air conditioned, it's nice and quiet, and a lot of people around me who don't know me, so there'll be no talking and everything. Then a lady came and sat next to me, and she was reading a book on Jesus. And I was very happy that somebody sat next to me. So I increased the volume of my chanting so that she could hear. Then she started fretting, and she started, "Oh Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Jesus." And then I started chanting even louder. And then she said, "Oh," and she couldn't stand me chanting at all. And I was saying, "Krishna, please help me, just so that she hears your name." But then she couldn't stand it anymore, and she just went and sat opposite me in the opposite chair, so she couldn't hear my chanting, which obviously I then decreased the volume, so I didn't want to upset her. But I felt very good when she did that to me. Usually I would have taken offense and said, "Oh my God, she doesn't even want to sit next to me." And I have upset her and things like that. But I was very happy that she did that to me, because she was showing me my true self. I was like that, or I still am like that. I do not want to chant, and I feel chanting is boring and annoying, and I fret as well. So she was just showing the reflection of how I behave with Krishna, and it was really eye opening. So, if you want to share Krishna consciousness, be ready. I mean, I'm sure you have experienced this in book distribution as well, that you will get some negative experiences, but I think they are there to teach you. And for me, this was my learning experience for what is happening to me in this past 1 week. So Krishna himself came and started fretting and behaving the way I do. So yeah. So there's learning experience everywhere when you start chanting or taking Krishna's name or trying to spread Krishna's name. Here I thought that I was spreading his name. Kumbesh, he was trying to teach me, look at the way you chant my names. This is the way you chant my names. So thank you, Mataji, for letting me share.
Thank you. Interesting perspective, how everything can be a self-reflection, a learning curve, a self-reflection. Yeah, it's a bit tricky when we're trying to spread the holy name. Sometimes when you see resistance, then I think the ninth offense don't never instruct a faithless person, because they have their own faith, and that's absolutely okay. But no, interesting reflection and perception. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Thank you for sharing that. I think time is up.
Krishna. Oh, sorry. It's okay.
Okay, go on, Chani.
Um, I would just like to share my personal experience. I didn't know about this WHO, facts about more than 1 billion people worldwide are living with a mental health condition. So, personally, in 2017, end of year, I had read the Bhagavad Gita, and, I had realizations a lot, and it came with a lot of darkness and a personal darkness where, it showed me all my flaws and everything where I was wrong. And of course, led to the light. And then in 2018, my boyfriend of 5 years passed away. So it led me even more to Krishna consciousness and made me believe in everything. Of course, prior to that was the Gita. So I wouldn't say it was this, but then it did lead, the his passing led me to a depressive state for quite a bit of time. And yeah, only I can only say Krishna has helped me, Radharani has helped me, devotees, Srila Prabhupada's Gita and the books, the devotees, the kirtan, everything. That's all I can say has helped me. And in terms of my experience with sharing the knowledge, I really tried. I would tell them my experience that, Gita changed my life, the Bhagavad Gita changed my life completely, and I had actual spiritual realizations of God, and it's life changing. But most are reluctant. Maybe they'll try read a few pages and then they don't manage to finish. And some people, when I went to Ram Mandir, I was doing service there. they they give back the books, and they're like, if you know anyone, please go and give it to them. My own relatives, they had the Srimad Bhagavatam from before, way before even I was into it, and they're like, we want to return back all the books. And some come, in fact, some, not my relatives, but at the Ram Mandir, they were like frantic. They're like, we want to return these books. We want, like, frantic, like, maybe they experience the same thing that we all do, like the darkness together with the light. And then they're like, we want to return this, something bad is happening, something wrong is happening, but they don't know. Maybe one day eventually, yeah, they'll realize. That's all. I try and tell people to join the group, the group we're on, and they Zoom classes every day. My friends, whoever I know, some join one day and then they don't join, but whenever I do meet them, I try and say my experience so that they can maybe follow. But yeah, let's see. Let's see, we try. Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your endeavor. You just have to keep trying. That's all we can do. Like, Krishna, like I said, he's not so much after the result as much as he wants to see the endeavor. And sometimes just being a bit selective. Um, that helps. Even when I go on book distribution, I will very rarely stop Indian people, because it's just like, oh, I know, I know. I have at home. I have the Gita at home, and I just find it a bit annoying. Like, you have the Bhagavad Gita at home. Do you open it? I know. You don't. So actually, I used to get really annoyed. Now it's so much nicer stopping Africans. It's so much nicer. They will stop. Maybe they won't have money to buy, but at least you'll have a fruitful discussion. So you can also be selective. And maybe with people who are reluctant like that, then the better option is prasad. Because then maybe what needs to happen is their consciousness needs some purification before they can even think about opening the Bhagavad Gita or a book. And then there's also life will throw challenges and events in everybody's life that's going to make them question life. And if somebody hasn't been trashed enough in life to question life deeply, then it's very difficult for them to take to Krishna consciousness. That has to happen in one's life. It's a natural progression. Nobody forced us, and we'll never be able to force anybody else. So nonetheless, Krishna is appreciating the endeavor. It is okay to be selective, and then sometimes just prasadam or and sometimes nothing. That's the ninth offense. Don't preach to faithless people. You gauge the situation, test the water a little bit, and if you see there's reluctance, hesitancy, then just let it be. They have just there. The no is just a step closer to a yes eventually. Maybe your role was just to plant the seed. You've done that. Now let that fructify, and then let nature take its course also. But like, again, Krishna is appreciative of the endeavor. So thank you very much.
Very
Thank you
true.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji, especially what you said about Prashadam. So my mom always tells me that, I was not into Krishna consciousness and going to Hare Krishna. And my sister was a devotee from before. And my mom is a devotee. She believed in Shiv Bhagwan and ISKCON as well. But like, I was not into it at all. Like, no chanting, no praying, no nothing. Just going to the temple Sunday, 5 minutes, and that's it. So my mom told me that she started giving me prashadam. She used to ask everyone at the temple that how can I make my daughter, get into this? And everyone said, give prashadam, give prashadam. So she started giving prashadam to me every day, like without me knowing. And yeah, that's when the change happened. That's when, yeah, eventually I read the Gita. So she told me that that's how it started. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So I think we can end class now.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that Very profound and beautiful class. And also, thank you all, dear devotees, for sharing your very inspiring stories. Mataji, you have a beautiful art of making your students also teachers. And we really appreciate that from you. Because from everybody's perspective, we are learning and also getting inspired. And it is true when those statistics, I even feel like they are much more of WHO. The mental health in this Kali Yuga is very much chaotic. I'm right now rotating in psychiatry department here in Nakuru, and it is so chaotic. So many people come in with suicide attempts being brought by families. Even an 80-year-old mother who lost a son some 2 months ago. She has tried to commit suicide some almost 4 times now, and you wonder she's 80. Why can she just wait for her time to just come naturally? It's because most of these people just lack awareness of who we really are, servants of Krishna the soul. And in another one, we've just left as we have left them we tied up with a rope because this guy is trying everything he can to come out of the body, including banging his head on the wall. There are so many scars in a sharp object. He's trying to get in his body, and it's so sad. And for us as doctors, we just give you some chemicals to sedate you, to forget. But it's really, really, as I say, it's pretty bad for our mental health. But I'm glad we have the mantra. We have Association of Devotees. We have these classes. We have the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And I feel they give us the strength to continue in this chaotic world. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's a bit of a
Yes.
dire situation in Kenya, isn't it? Even with the local people. On the one side, university is all drugs and everything. You're lucky if you finish university sober. By the time you finish university, you're an addict. And then there's the unemployment, the joblessness.
Yes.
A really real situation in Kenya, a real situation in Kenya. And obviously the government is not going to do anything. So
Yes.
like I say, just more preaching, more opportunities to earth. So much work has to be done, so much work.
Yes.
And the future
Yeah.
is yours. The young, capable devotees like you are going to make the difference, I feel.
With the mercy of our gurus and our teachers, we shall try our best.
Hare Krishna, I think we should end the class now.
Yes. I think. And Ninamburu, are you able to end the session for us today? Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you for such a wonderful class and for making us think beyond where we were. And yes, we'll do more on the preaching and on our personal goals and try to become more spiritually advanced. Thank you so much. So I'll request all the devotees to unmute and we chant one round of the Maha Mantra in glorification of Ami Mataji.
Thank you,
Hare
Ashwariya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Mantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Her Grace
Srila Prabhu.
Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for
so
wonderful
much.
question.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.